you
a
buy
little
the
box.
area,
Yeah,
right?
the area.
It's like a property.
It is
And then,
property.
you have to kind of buy the stone, and they what do you call it, emboss your family name,
Hmm.
and then it's like they have to open
Right.
it,
The
and
crypt.
then you can just put, I don't know how many people, maybe like 10,
See,
12,
okay, right? 10 or
yeah,
12. Let me tell you how America does it.
because of the business.
I'm going to tell you, I am so disheartened about that
Mm.
because, and that's a funny story too. Scott Wilson,
Yeah.
who I told you about, and heaven. When Scott passed, I was there, and I know that he passed because he knew Heavenly was going to be okay because he had been, battling his illness. And so I didn't
Was it
leave.
at home?
It was at home.
Oh,
So that
okay.
was good because we were really trying to get him to go to the hospital.
He didn't want to
He
go.
didn't want to go. But you know what? That's because he knew. And he's like, you know what? Say what you want to say. He even said, okay, yeah, I'll go. So his friend was coming. He was just keeping everybody busy so he could leave. You know what I mean? But what happened was I never left her side. Her sister is from Italy. The other sister lived in Australia. So, I was there with her.
Mm-hmm.
And when it came to making the arrangements, I was there with her
Who?
at the funeral home.
Oh.
Okay.
And he was.
Of course, what happens is when someone passes,
You call.
you call, you call the funeral home.
Oh, you do.
So it
Okay.
was Forest Lawn.
Uh-huh.
So you call Forest Lawn and they arrange it. Their people come and pick up the body because that's where you want the services to be held.
Oh, okay.
That's where you want them
Okay.
buried, right? A whole nother story is the people that walked in.
Mm-hmm.
I knew them. I met them before, put it like that,
Uh-huh.
because a prior friend had just passed away 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
And that was a good friend, Toby Hooper, he's like directed Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just a dear, dear, dear friend. But then prior to that, we had lost Ernest's mom. So,
Mm.
and it just so happened to be that
You just know.
yeah, because they send the same people,
Oh.
But anyway, I knew what to do. So that being said, this is the moral to the story, or this is the point to the story. When you are making arrangements, they are really wrong. And I don't mean they just that Forest Lawn, but this is how all funeral homes work. You sit and you go through it from the rooter to the tutor, you know, that's an old saying, a rooter to the tutor, like the nose to the tail, right? They sit you there and you're exhausted. You're already grieving a lost one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they say, okay, now we're going to deal with the flowers. Now we're going to deal with this. And I could tell that Heavenly would be tired. Heavenly, let's stop, right? So that being said, because I don't want to just sit here and tell, the story of what happened. But this is when I learned. How can I tell this story? Okay. Heavenly says, I want a bench and I want a nice place because she was buying a spot for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, okay, you can have this spot, whereas you'll be like one on top of the other. And she goes, no. This was my partner in life. I'm not going to be on top of him. I was side by side with him.
Oh, okay. That's expensive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he said, oh, side by side. Okay. Well, if you want a bench, we have this beautiful area here. Because where they had it before, it had some political, it was just not Scott. It wasn't the good vibe. So then he picked this nice place. We liked it. I was like, yes, okay, this is perfect, right? Yeah, this is perfect. So then she says, okay, he says, but if you want this, you have to buy the 6 plots.
What do you mean 6 plots?
6, the area for 6 coffins.
Why?
Because that's the area that it was. That's the area. Now, don't get me wrong, if you go down a little further, you can have one plot next to another. But that being said, we were like, oh, okay. And Heavenly said, I like this spot right here. So we go in and she says, well, Rose, what do you think? I said, I haven't bought any plots for me and Ernest yet. I said, you know what? Yeah, let me talk to him and we can go in half. So that's only 4 plots, right? But it
Mm-hmm.
was 6 plots. I said, She says, well, what are we going to do with the other 2? Because her sisters are in different parts and they have of the country and they have their
Yeah.
family. We have Ernest's aunt, his mom, in the urn
Yeah.
here. I was like, well, we can use the others and put the urns in there. Because when my mom goes, she could be in urn. We could all put them all. And I'm thinking in my mind, you have one space for a casket. I
Mm-hmm.
can fill that up.
Yeah.
And he said, no, 1 urn per coffin space.
What?
Is that crazy?
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
I would just put the
Yeah, right?
ashes around the soil.
Everybody's together now.
Yeah, we're all together.
And
Go
so
back to the soil.
so still we went ahead and Heavenly got them.
Oh,
And
she
that's a whole
did?
nother funny story. But guess what? We had to go to a premiere of one of the other actors who was in another movie. And I picked Heavenly up. This is after our long day because I had to stop. It's like, look, she's tired. Let's continue. So she gets in the car. I picked her up. She gets in the car and she goes, and she looks at me. And I cracked up laughing. I just busted out laughing. I said, I know what you're thinking. She goes, I walked in the house and I heard Scott's voice just as clear as day. He said, have you lost your freaking mind? I was rolling. I said, okay, got it. I said, Heavenly, no problem. I'll take care of it. She goes, but we signed contracts. I said, don't worry. I'll get out of it because they know that they're putting you under pressure. They know that they're putting you under stress and they're wrong for that. So, even in real estate, you have 24 at least hours to change your mind,
Mm-hmm.
So the next day I called him and of course he goes, well, what's wrong? Well, what's wrong? And I said, she's under a lot of stress and this ties back to Asian. I said, she's Asian and Asian women live a long time. And what we don't want to do is for her to outlive her money. So instead, if you can find a spot where those 2 can be together separately, he goes, you know what? I'll throw in a bench. I talked to management, I'll throw in a bench. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you will. No, we changed our mind. So that being said, we got out of it. But that was a funny story with me and Heavenly.
Wow.
So that being said, in America, no, you just can't stack, which is unfair.
It is. Well, you guys got the lands here.
Yeah, I don't know. But you do have to put, there comes a time you do have to have, I'm going to look at a place or a mausoleum because what happens is imagine over time, like when I was moving, Ernest, when we moved together, I moved his house into my house. And so there's the urn of the aunt. Only I know it's an urn. But Lauren, when they were helping me move, because I moved the 2 houses, he said, Mom, I just want to say, is this somebody? You just know because urns are beautiful, but it's like, okay, what is this? You can't open them.
Oh, you can't open it? Oh, you gotta break it?
Yeah, you gotta break it open. You just break the seal.
Oh.
But it's a beautiful, porcelain urn. You pick them.
Oh, okay.
So in time, it's like, okay, pretty soon you don't want to have a whole bunch of jars. And as generations go down the line, it's like, okay,
Well, they make it powder in America,
what?
right? Ashes, like a powder, right?
As opposed to what?
In Japan, they we put that in a like a burning oven, right? And take it out. The person who worked there, they can tell you what part of the body
because the bones are still there.
Yeah, still there, and it's very fragile. But they're like, oh, this is the, the
Yeah, yeah.
throat,
Hmm.
and this is the skull,
One.
and we have to pick it with the chopstick, and
Oh,
together with the person. So you hold the chopstick and I hold the chopstick.
like do I have two?
Yeah, so we have to pick it together
Mm.
and
And
to put
put
it
it
in
in
the
the
jar.
box. In
Yeah,
the
yeah,
jar.
yeah.
Mm.
Um,
That's a lot for a whole body.
yeah, but it's not. It's it fits in
I
one
know it is, but
jar.
how long are you there picking?
We just do a couple, like whoever who's
Oh, the
the family.
ceremonial
Yeah,
part
it
of it.
is. It is.
Oh.
Yeah, so we do that, and then I remember when my grandma passed, Takara was with me, and we said goodbye to the body, right? And
Hmm.
then she went into the oven, and then oven came back with the ashes. Takara was like, ah!
Right. You're like, shh, shh, shh.
Yeah, and my aunt was like, I'm going to take her away, and they
Yeah.
were, so yeah, she was freaked out.
Mm.
Yeah.